This essay explains a theory. It is an idea about our near future, around the year 2028. This theory connects three powerful forces in American society. First, the rapid rise of artificial intelligence. Second, the significant expansion of immigration enforcement. Third, the persistent and profitable industry of private prisons. AI is rapidly advancing. It could eliminate millions of jobs. Immigration enforcement is expanding. That includes the agency known as ICE. Private prisons remain profitable. They provide the physical infrastructure for mass detention. This essay will lay out the known facts for each part, then explain how these factual trends could converge. Such a convergence could pose a profound risk to our civil liberties. We state clearly what is fact and what is speculation. The first piece of this puzzle is the recent and dramatic growth of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. This growth is not just a matter of policy shifts. It is measurable in dollars, personnel, and technological capabilities. In recent years, congressional budgets and supplemental funding bills have allocated billions of dollars specifically for immigration enforcement activities. These funds are designated for hiring more officers, expanding surveillance programs, and increasing the pace of deportations. This financial commitment signals a clear political priority. It builds an institutional capacity for enforcement on a scale that was previously unimaginable. Aggressive campaigns to hire thousands of new enforcement officers provide the manpower needed to turn policy directives into direct action within communities across the country, far from the nation's physical borders. ICE is increasingly operating like a modern intelligence organization, not just a traditional law enforcement body. Public records show purchases of personal data, utilities, social media, app location, via private contractors and algorithms to build profiles and identify targets, often without warrants. More money, more officers, and more powerful technology combine to create a formidable enforcement engine. HSI investigates a wide array of cross-border crime, further blurring lines between immigration enforcement and domestic policing, supported by vast, permanent, technologically advanced infrastructure. The second major component is the expansion of the physical infrastructure for detention, much of it operated by private for-profit companies. When agencies arrest more people, they need places to hold them, creating a market for human incarceration. CoreCivic and GEO Group have long-standing relationships with federal agencies, including ICE. Reliance on private immigration detention has remained strong and, in some cases, has grown. Major contracts have been renewed, with previously shuttered centers reopening, some fast-tracked, awarded with limited competition. Guaranteed minimum payments ensure revenue even for empty beds, powerful incentives to keep facilities full, and advocate policies that raise detention. Public discussions and budgets include funds for new detention facilities, signaling a long-term commitment to mass detention. This investment is not easily reversed. It entrenches incarceration infrastructure and makes it a ready policy solution. The detention market is verifiable, public financials showing hundreds of millions to billions from government contracts. The contracts themselves are public records. The supply side, tens of thousands of corporate-run beds, ensures that if arrests increase, capacity exists, reinforcing a system premised on growing incarceration demand. The third and perhaps most disruptive force is the rise of artificial intelligence. We are talking about a technological revolution happening now, projected to accelerate dramatically by 2028. Leaders in tech, economists, and government officials are issuing stark warnings. AI won't just automate manual labor. It will displace many white-collar and cognitive jobs. Customer service, data analysis, software coding, paralegal work. CEOs warn AI could achieve superintelligence and outperform humans efficiently and cheaply. U.S. executive orders address AI leadership and risk. Official documents acknowledge labor disruption and call for job retraining. Reports from major firms suggest hundreds of millions of jobs worldwide could be affected. New jobs may be created, but the transition speed and skills mismatch could drive unemployment and precarity. The anticipated economic shock is the catalyst. Job loss breeds fear, political unrest, and desperation. The crucial question: will the response be social support or social control? Now we arrive at the heart of the theory. We connect the factual trends we have observed. AI job loss or ICE expansion or private prisons. ICE, more funding. ICE, more officers. ICE, more surveillance power. A for-profit detention industry, expanding capacity, and a financial incentive to fill beds. Hovering over both, AI-driven job displacement. The theory posits a convergence forming a dangerous system of social control for profit, especially approaching 2028. Mass unemployment does not lead to a New Deal or UBI. Instead, it's framed as law and order, with desperation driving crime, protest, and unrest. Influenced by corporate interests, force could be chosen. A broadened, tech-savvy ICE could be deployed beyond immigrants under broad legal justifications. There is no public document or whistleblower proving a coordinated plan. The theory does not depend on a single secret conspiracy. It suggests a convergence of interests. Government needs to manage dissent. The agency has tools. Private prisons profit. Separate decisions could combine into a deeply unjust outcome operating at the margins, especially via HSI's wide jurisdiction. To consider this possibility, we must not be naive about U.S. agency history. History shows secret operations exceeding legal authority and targeting citizens. These are documented facts, uncovered by congressional investigations and journalism. Operation Chaos sought foreign influence in domestic dissent, but became massive domestic spying, despite CIA's bar on domestic policing. Files on over 300,000 Americans and organizations. Infiltrations, surveillance, information sharing, with years of secrecy until the Church Committee exposed it. Agencies will interpret mandates broadly to target domestic dissent. MKUltra ran secret human experiments, drugs like LSD, hypnosis, psychological abuse, on unwitting citizens and foreign nationals to control behavior. Outside law and morality, it violated fundamental rights in the name of national security. Parallels that caution, not prove. Today's data mining, biometrics, and AI far exceed 1960s tools. Fear of overreach is not paranoia. It's a lesson from our past. To maintain clarity, separate documented fact from theoretical claim. This distinction is the foundation of responsible analysis. The facts provide the building blocks, while the theory provides a possible blueprint. Without this separation, concern devolves into baseless conspiracy. Here are established facts, supported by public records, news reporting, and official statements. First, the funding, hiring, and technological surveillance capabilities of ICE and DHS have significantly increased, verifiable through federal budgets and procurement contracts. Second, private prison corporations secure and renew lucrative contracts to operate detention centers, with budgets allocating expansion, verifiable via company reports and government announcements. Third, a consensus among technology leaders and economists holds that AI will cause substantial job displacement, verifiable through public speeches, interviews, and reports. The central claim: a deliberate, coordinated plan among political and corporate actors to use expanded enforcement and detention to manage AI-driven unrest for profit. These claims are speculative. There is no smoking gun document or whistleblower proving a formal strategy. The theory is an inference from known facts. It suggests a pattern, a convergence of interests that could lead to this outcome even without centralized conspiracy. The claim is coordination. The worry is convergence. If this theory describes a potential future, we must become vigilant observers, tracking measurable policy shifts and corporate actions. Here are concrete things to watch as we approach 2028. First, monitor budgets for disproportionate funding surges to enforcement, particularly ICE and HSI, without a publicly debated crisis, and for new powers with minimal oversight. Second, track rapid, non-competitive contracts to private prison companies and increases in guaranteed minimum payments that pay for empty beds. Third, observe partnerships between major tech firms and enforcement agencies, especially opaque ones, using commercial data and AI to track people domestically. Watch for broadened HSI offense definitions expanding domestic reach. Finally, correlate rising unemployment by region or industry with enforcement and detention spikes. If downturns are followed by crackdowns that fill private beds, the pattern strengthens. If these happen in concert, the theory gains evidentiary weight. If uncorrelated, it remains weaker. We examined a theory linking AI expansion, immigration enforcement growth, and the for-profit prison industry. The components are factual. The coordinated system is speculative. The danger is convergence, by design or confluence, producing a response to economic hardship with incarceration, enriching a few, while violating the rights of many. This is a warning, not a prediction. It is a plausible scenario arising from visible infrastructure and foreseeable disruption. History shows power mixed with profit and fear can be used unimaginably. The correct response is calm, persistent vigilance. Demand transparency in spending and contracting. Call for robust oversight of enforcement and intelligence. Journalists, civil liberties groups, and academics must monitor and report. Ask officials, who profits from these policies? Are there enforceable rules preventing surveillance for domestic social control? What is the plan to support communities hit by displacement? 2028 is not written. The convergence of AI, ICE, and private prisons is a potential risk, not an inevitability. By understanding the pieces and watching their assembly, we can influence the outcome, prioritizing human dignity and social support over control and incarceration. The first step is to see the pattern, understand the risk, and refuse to look away. Stay calm, stay informed, and demand accountability. If this resonated, please subscribe, like, and share. New essays weekly. Turn on notifications. Comment your thoughts below. This video was made possible by Thunderbird Perch.